of reasons for that, and all of them have to do with him. So, but, you know, it's one of those things where it's gonna come down to a lot of reasons why, and, you know, we're probably closer, but, you know, I'm not saying it's a done deal yet. And, even which way we're leaning, and the other thing is if we're leaning one way or the other, it doesn't matter, because we gotta have both guys, ready, because funny things happen. So a lot of wrestling left in the year. I mean, we got 2 more weekends before we get to the postseason, and then we got the postseason. So a lot of good things going on right now.
How about with 65?
You know, Burke Paddock was sick this week. You know, we sent him to Dubuque. You know, he had the situation with his family and his dad passing and stuff, and we're keeping him in there, and he's making weight, and he's done everything we've asked. And again, it's the same situation. He's got to be ready to go, and we got to keep him ready to go. And you know, we want 2 guys there that are equally intent on being the best they can be, and really, you know, being the Big Ten and the national champion. And if they're not going to be that, then let's get as close to that as we can. So either way, the mindset has to be the same.
Are you where you need to be as a team going in, getting 2 weeks away from the postseason?
As a team, I mean, you know, here's one thing. You can stand on your head and wave a wand, and, you know, you can scream and yell, or you can just sit back and then talk to them when they get off the mat. And, you know, one of the matches out there tonight, I was ready to turn into a raving lunatic, not the 25-pound match. The situation with the grabbing the toe turned me into a raving lunatic there. But, you know, and so what you do is you just calm down, let him wrestle his match, and then when he comes off the mat, you gotta explain to him, you know, that your best chance to win is to let it fly. And, you know, you say that, it's been backed up, and it's been proven at the highest level in the practice room by your own self. So go out there and do it. Plus, it's a lot more fun when you compete that way. You don't have to let it come down to, you know, 21 seconds to go. And then there's an injury time or a blood time, and then you're telling the guy that it's his overtime. You know, this is your overtime now. You don't wait for the overtime. And then he wins, and, you know, then he gets the hand on the mat takedown, and then he's kind of hanging with his hands on the legs. And, you know, I'm being kind of, you know, Debbie Downer there, but, you know, we got to do a better job. And, you know, I don't know where this guy is in comparison to last week's guy, but it doesn't matter to me. Go out there and do what you do best and let it fly and have fun and score points. Doesn't have to be that hard.
Tom, what did Alex do in that second period to kind of flip the match in his favor there?
Well, he scored a takedown, right? He got the first takedown in the second period, I believe. He had 2 takedowns in the match. The first period, he kept escaping, you know, and even though the guy had a minute 15 or a minute whatever riding time on us, you know, we kept escaping, and it was more just a hang ride where he was just hanging on. And you know, the 3 takedowns in the first period weren't doomed to us because, you know, it wasn't 6-2 with 2 minutes of riding time against us. And then the other thing in the second period is our choice. You know, Myers' choice there, no hesitation, he goes down. So now it's 6-4. And then he dodges a bullet and, you know, sits, and the guy had his hands locked. And Myers got heavy hips. And it's hard to hang if you're trying to hang. And I think that guy was just trying to hang with his hands locked. And, you know, we got around behind him, and he did some good things there and kind of reeled that match back into his control. And then the other thing in the third period that I liked is, you know, when it's 7-7, you know, I'm probably going to ride there because of the success we had riding. But, you know, he cut him after 10 or 15 seconds, and then he went and got a takedown and did some good things. The other thing is that he was turning him on the edge a couple times with wrists and stuff, but we can't sit underneath guys so much. We got to take them forward and then make sure we just have it really, really tight and then go. Because unless you have to go for broke and time's just running out and you're down by 3 or whatever, you got to have the 4 near fall. You know, I don't think you have to gamble like that, but I think Myers' heavy hips is probably what won the day for him. That guy had to carry that load, even when he was ahead, you know, 6-2, and then we come out of the bottom and make it 6-3 at the end of the first period there.
How about Cooper just kind of doing completely the opposite? you did last week?
Yeah, and when you say completely the opposite, I'm a wrestling guy, so I'm going, well, there's some similarities because, you know, I'm begging him to score at the end, and there wasn't a lot of scoring at the end. So, you know, we got one guy at 57, and this is what I said, is one guy at 57, and he's scoring for the first 4 minutes of the match, and then, you know, nothing's happening the last 3, and then we got a guy at 65 that's not scoring for the first 4 minutes of the match, and then he's scoring the last 3. You know, I think Rhodes scored 2 takedowns in the last 3 minutes, you know, or whatever. But, you know, we got to put full matches together. And those 2 weights are going to factor in. They're going to factor in the Big Tens, and they're going to factor in the national tournament.
There's starting to be some clarity on the Big Ten side of this national duels thing. What are your thoughts on the format?
Penn State had a big win tonight. That puts them in the championship. You know, if Ohio State beats Penn State there, we're probably going to be the team with the marquee duel. And from there, it's going to be an interesting matchup because I don't think, you know, I think the most important thing is to have the Penn State matchup now and for the national title. And then the other ones have to be interesting matchups. So, you know, you can look at it a number of different ways, and you know, we'll factor into that decision as well. It's a home event for us, and it's not meant to be, you know, I don't think it's meant to be like a strict, you know, following that. I think the interesting matchups and you know, the bowl concept. And then next year we'll travel. We'll go to Missouri or Cornell or North Carolina State or Stanford or California, you know, Poly or whatever. So it's interesting.
You like it?
You know, I like the idea. I like trying something different. I like that it's not a multi-event event, a multi-team event and team advancement event. I like that it's not a team advancement event. But, you know, I think it's something that maybe the timing's wrong a little bit, but maybe not. Maybe not. I like it. I mean, we got to be sharp. And then we'll have a weekend off after that, and then we'll have the Big Ten. So nothing changes as far as our schedule. You know, we'd be wrestling all the way, you know, to the end of that weekend anyway, and even though we'll probably be on a Monday night now, it looks like. And we'll see. So I think it's going to work out well, and you got to give credit to Sanderson, Cale Sanderson, for it's his concept. And, you know, it took a long time to kind of get to this point. You know, this thing was hatched in his brain, I think, 3 years ago. And now it's upon us, and we'll see. We'll see how it happens.
Thanks, Coach.